Well, now, the 25th James Bond movie, No Time to Die, is one of the most highly anticipated films of all time, as well as being one of the most delayed of all time because of the pandemic, of course. It was originally due to be released April 3rd, 2020. But finally, fans will be able to see it in cinemas from tomorrow. In fact, some are showing it from just after midnight tonight. No Time to Die is Daniel Craig's fifth and final film as James Bond, and it'll also be the longest Bond to date, 163 minutes, which is 2 hours and 43 minutes. Oh, I'll take that. I love it. At the end of the last film, Spectre, we saw Bond driving away in the Aston Martin with Madeleine Swann, played by Léa Seydoux. And in this one, No Time to Die, Bond has left active service and is enjoying a chilled life in Jamaica. Here comes Daniel Craig, everybody.
How are you?
Welcome back to the show. Are you well? Are you looking forward to doing quite a lot of work over the next few weeks?
I am. I'm well. Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's been a very odd couple of years for everybody, so this is low down the list of priorities, but I'm just so happy that we've managed to get here and actually managed to get the movie a premiere and also into the cinemas, which is all we ever wanted.
Have you watched it all the way through?
Yes, it's that good.
No, I don't know about these things. And are you happy?
I'm very happy. I'm very proud. I'm incredibly glad that we got a chance to do another movie. I mean, I kind of was going to give up at the end of the last one, and I'm glad that I didn't. And I think it's quite special, but who knows? We'll see. I hope people like it, but, you know, it's in the film god's hands now, not mine.
There's something I need to tell you.
I bet there is.
I was watching that documentary. You were saying something along the lines of, I got to a point where I didn't want to do it anymore. Then they persuaded you to do it. And then you trained to do it in every single way, like an athlete.
Almost like an athlete, I think, is what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Not really.
Your commitment is absolutely incredible. And it stayed like that throughout. So much so that you've injured yourself. What do you say about that?
Oh, listen, I mean, I kind of go on about the injuries. It feels like it. I mean, it was difficult to do the documentary and not talk about them because they marked each movie in a particular way, and you can't help but have that conversation because they affect you emotionally when you're doing the film. But I said from the beginning, I've got to throw myself into this. I mean, there's no point doing this unless I give it everything I've got, and I would have regretted it if I hadn't.
What can you tell us about this particular film, beyond the fact that you're enjoying your life in Jamaica?
Listen, I was very lucky to be given the chance to sort of tell this story from the beginning. With Casino, we started off, and I've always had this sort of secret plan, probably only in my head, but tried to get it into other people's heads, that I wanted to tell a story through my tenure and that we should wrap it up. And this is a chance to wrap up all those loose ends, fill in some of the gaps, bring back some old characters and also some new ones. And there's a love story going on, and it's tragedy, there's a lot of emotion in the film, but then it's a Bond movie, so there's a big pile of action and a bit of everything, hopefully.
I respect you for answering the question with hardly any detail.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
That was perfect. Daniel Craig is on with us today. More questions to come here with Daniel Craig, James Bond, on The Big Show. Steve, right in the afternoon. Don't go away. More later.
Listen live on the BBC Sounds app.
Talking here with Daniel Craig. We're talking about Bond 25, No Time to Die. Let's just go for a question from Bobby.
So did you get to work on any script changes? Do you have that kind of power?
I've got a big mouth.
Well, that's a bit of power.
If that's power, then yes. I'm very closely involved with all of it. It matters to me, and the storyline, it's a big collaborative process, because I've been living in the States too long. Getting Phoebe involved, and it continually changes, and like all of them, scenes get rewritten, we fiddle with things, and I'm involved with all of that, yeah.
The thing that no one wants to admit is that most people want things to happen to them. We tell each other lies about the fight for free will and independence, but we don't really want that. We want to be told how to live and then die when we are not looking. People want oblivion, And a few of us are born to build it for them. So here I am, their invisible God, sneaking under their skin.
You know that history isn't kind to those who play God.
And you don't?
People know you, I think, as a fine actor. And I remember before the whole Bond thing, you used to come into our show and talk about some of the movies that you were in, some of the independent movies. So are you looking forward to doing some of those in the future, or are you on a different tack now?
Listen, if it's good, I'll do it. I mean, and I've got the time and the space, I'll absolutely do it. I mean, size does not matter. I've got this amazing thing going on with Knives Out, working with Rian Johnson on that. He's a great writer and I've got this amazing character to play, and that's just wonderful. And I'm just, I'm an actor. I love acting. So if I get sent a good script, I'm going to be stupid not to look at it.
There's a rather interesting piece in the documentary, which we mentioned earlier on, you talking about suddenly being famous. You were a success, you were a jobbing actor, becoming different characters. But here you are, universally known all of a sudden. And the various people that helped you through that, you said in the documentary, you adapted your kind of whole attitude to it. This was Hugh Jackman that helped you out on that, right?
He did, yeah.
What did he say?
It was not what he said in particular. We were doing this show on Broadway. This incredible thing would happen at the end of the show where we'd leave the stage door and there'd be about 1,000 people, up to about 1,000 people, standing outside waiting for us. And it terrified me. I mean, I just was like, and he just said, listen, mate, enjoy it. And I just watched him, the way he was relaxed and the way that he just went, they're here for you. And I was like, are they? Really? Just, I couldn't get my head around. I learned he's a master at it. I think I say in the documentary, his wife calls him Senator Jackman.
How excited do you still get as an actor going on set? Obviously, as you say, this is your last Bond film. Was that excitement heightened, or are you still always excited about doing something like this?
You can't not be. You know, Mark, who's our set designer on this, who's a genius, and his remit was to go big or go home. And we have some of the best sets we've ever had. We used the whole of the 00 stage in Pinewood, blew it up, and then put it back together again, which is usually what we do. Or burn it down or something. I mean, I say it to people on set, especially other actors, but also to the crew, and we walk onto these sets and I go, can you believe this? I mean, because I can't. It's still a massive thrill. I mean, of course we use special effects. You have to use special effects to make a movie this size, and why wouldn't you? Because they're brilliant. But we still use a lot of physical, the sets are physical, they work, you can look at them, they're big because we use that massive stage. So I'd be made of stone if I couldn't get moved by that.
No Time to Die also has familiar faces, of course, including Ralph Fiennes returning as M. I don't like him. Naomi Harris as Moneypenny, Ben Whishaw as Q, Rory Kinnear as Bill Tanner, Christoph Waltz is also back as Bond's iconic archenemy Blofeld. Wow. I was going to ask you about Ben Whishaw, because that movie where he's introduced as Q, I was strangely moved by that whole scene. Are you aware that that's quite an emotional scene for viewers? And are you aware of the emotional scenes before they go out, as it were, in the movie?
You mean from Skyfall?
Yeah, I thought it was great.
It was just some great writing and inspired casting. I mean, to get Ben, who's one of my favourite actors, I mean, he's absolutely brilliant. And to get Ben in to do it, and again in this movie, he knocks it out of the park. When he's on screen, you can't stop looking at him. So I think you know when it's written well and you act it and you kind of go, oh, I don't know how that went, but that film seemed to be all right. But you never really know until it gets into the movie and people see it.
Bond, your watch. It contains a limited radius electromagnetic pulse. It'll short any circuit in a hardwired network if you get close enough.
And how strong is it?
It's fairly strong.
Fairly strong? What's that mean?
We haven't had the chance to test it properly, just be careful. Right, this is QDAR. We'll map the space as you move through it. Don't touch that. And Smart Blood will track you and your vitals.
I want to know about the stunts, because the very first film you did, Bond film, you really threw yourself in there. Did you throw yourself in there on this one?
Yeah, probably not quite as much, but then I've learned a few things over the years, so I've learned when not to do things. I don't bounce as well as I used to, so I work with these brilliant people, stunt coordinators and stunt men and women who make my job a lot easier. John Charles, who's my stunt double, he takes the real falls for me.
Do you ever feel the pressure when you're on set that suddenly you go, this is all on me? I mean, I know it's not all on you, but it's all on that character.
I said to Barbara and Michael very early on, give me a say and I'll pay you back. And that means that I can walk onto set and pretend to be him, because it was so far removed from anything that I could imagine. I said, if you give me that say and I can feel like I'm empowered to sort of input and artistically input. And they did. They were incredibly generous to me. And that meant that I could sort of stand up and pretend to be this crazy character.
What about some of the cliches that you, at first, when you started, that you thought should be altered slightly for a more modern day? Are some of those cliches back? You know, Bond, James Bond, and
all of
obviously
it.
The car.
All of it.
And a few of the lines that we like to see.
All of it. Yeah. I always just that came from the angle that we had to subvert it a little bit. I think I say in the documentary, I mean, you know, everybody had their different ways of doing things, and you've got to kind of make it your own. So I wanted it all to be in the film, and I think with this one we've pulled out all the stops.
So do you order a drink shaken, not stirred?
Maybe.
That was our most powerful question.
What a way to end.
Listen, just to say good luck with the movie, and good luck, of course, with your career. And if you're ever in between movies,
yes,
you can always come in and co-host some of this program.
God, terrifying.
But you're most welcome at any time.
That's very nice. I'll take you up on that.
You can see Daniel Craig as James Bond for the final time in No Time to Die in cinemas from tomorrow, rated 12A, and the Apple TV documentary Being James Bond is free to watch until October 7th. Thanks very much, Daniel.
Thank you.
Daniel Craig, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.